So we wanted to finally give everybody a tour of the garden that we've been promising forever and ever. We were trying to wait until everything looked really good, but that ship sailed maybe a week and a half ago. It's been so hot and things are going downhill quickly. Anyway, so we are just going to take you around and show you everything. We've got the snapdragons and alyssum here, the black and blue salvia, but it's not blooming very much. This is the dotted horse mint. It stays in the basal growth like this. Oh, here's one flower, and then as it gets into summer, it comes up with flower stalks, and the pollinators absolutely go crazy over it. It's a native. So as these other flowers die down, it's in position to come up over the summer. Well, this is actually one of our roses in here. This is called the sugar moon rose, but the petunias and snapdragons and verbena have gone a little bit crazy in that pot. You can see the pot way down under there. And we had Napa cabbages here. We've been harvesting all the Napa cabbages, though there's only one left. And now I've got gladiolas coming up. And some things in this pot here, which is for the Queen's Wreath, which Liz looked up the other day, and it's actually from South America. It's got 2 racemes of flowers right now. They're really pretty since we can't grow lilacs here. And there's more buds coming out of the flowers this time of year, so hopefully it'll do more. We've worked a lot on trimming things into tree shapes that give us and the plants shade out here because it's so intolerable otherwise. We just put some basil in here where another one of the Napa cabbages was. Turns out piling really high mounds and planting on top of mounds seems to really help maintain the right drainage. Things have done so much better that way this year. This carnation made it through the summer last year and has been doing okay, although the ants have started infiltrating the pot. We have really bad ant problems in spring as it gets humid air but no rain. They were taking over everything last year. There's a little patch of carrots in there. These are the beets we're gonna pull today. I'll get to them on the other side. This was our Christmas tree. It's a southern red cedar, which actually isn't a cedar, it's a juniper. It's not doing so great right now. It's got some brown I've been pruning out, and we put micronutrients and soil acidifier and mulch on, so hopefully that helps. Parsley's been going crazy. Some alyssum down there too. There was another parsley. There was a big parsley here, but the roots rotted, so it's actually coming back a little bit. Liz is gonna walk for part of this video. This is one of our lime quats. This is the new one. It's smaller than the original one, but it's got flowers on it. I'll come around this side. It is about 85 degrees today and 80% humidity, so it feels really, really hot. This is the garlic, which is our big experiment this year. Since we were stuck here over Christmas, we thought we'd give it a try. I picked it up from a vegetable stand because I noticed the bulbs looked like pictures I had seen of Creole garlic, which I know is the one type that has a shot here. And the guy that owned the stand said it was good garlic and they grow it in Mexico. So it's still got another probably month or 2 to go, and it's needed a ton of water. And we finally got our onion. Our onion starts in, which is a bit late. we harvested a bunch of guano from this park we always go to under the bat house and got that soil all amended. I don't know if you can see on the video, but this was piled about 2 feet high. It slowly settled a little bit, but pretty much we've discovered the higher we pile it, the better drainage we get, and we can keep it moist.
Hi.
This is the macadamia nut tree that was propagated by air layering. It's only a year old.
I've been watching for Sneaky Pete the snake. Who we've seen. How many times have we seen him now? 3
2.
times?
Just
Twice?
2.
And each time I spend like 3 seconds going, so excited instead of grabbing him. And he's here somewhere, but I don't know where.
We think he lives, so the macadamia nut tree is extra high up because they need really good drainage and acidic soil. So there's a plastic container in there with the pavers around, and we think he lives between there because he also has a water source with our fountain. But I keep going in front of the solar panel so it stops. That's the solar panel there. The fountain. And this is our...
I think Pete really likes the fountain. He started showing up right after we put the fountain.
Yeah, and something has been washing its food in there too. This is our second planting of Swiss chard. Looks like something's been eating that. We have to harvest a bit because it's kind of shading the onions here, but we both love the Swiss chard. It tastes even better than spinach, and it stands the heat way better, and it just produces and produces. So we use that for all kinds of stuff instead of spinach. Oh, okay, so I'll show you. Beets are really big, and this time we can pull one. Oh, look at that. Oh, there's another smaller one. They taste just as good when they get big. We roast them, so we just let them go and go and go. But now that the weather is getting hotter and the leaves are wilting, they'll start to rot. So it's time to pull them. I'll bring it around so Liz can show you how we weigh stuff. This thing is really big. I wish I could show you next to my head, but I can't flip the camera around.
Holy moly! That is the biggest beet I've ever seen.
You just peel the top part, but they taste just as juicy,
It's too
not
big
woody.
It's like that.
Here, put it next to your head
Should we weigh it?
for comparison. Yeah, let's weigh it.
Oh my God.
So this is our
Should
scale.
we take the greens off so they don't?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's completely weatherproof and it lights up at night. Liz found this. It's a fishing scale, so this is what we've been using to weigh
Yeah.
everything.
Some of the greens are really. It's harder than you think.
We have a
See?
lot of greens already frozen, and these are a lot older and chewier, so we don't have to worry about saving them.
Okay, ready?
Turn it on.
Okay, I'm guessing over 4 pounds.
I don't know about that. No. 3.3.
Oh.
3.3 pounds.
It is a giant.
I guess I'll leave it here for now. We're gonna pull the rest. We'll see how much we get all together. This is our recent patch of lettuce, and I've got all the gladiolas planted in there, so hopefully as they come up they'll give the lettuce just a little bit of shade. And there's Hamilton the orange tree. He's got his last orange. That's our 7th orange. Go back around the other side. Sorry if it's bouncy. It's so bright out here I can't really see anything. So I can't even really see what's on the camera. But he is just covered with blossoms.
Should we save any of these leaves?
No. And there's the last orange. And the butterfly bush is coming up, about to really start blooming. It was supposed to be dwarf. It was very small all winter, but it's just taking off now, and then hopefully it'll shade the roots of the orange. This is what we call the spiky patch. So this is all pineapples, amaryllis, and gladiolas. Been wanting to put a bunch of gladiolas in ever since I found out this used to be the gladiola capital, when I originally thought they were difficult to grow here. So that's almost 2 feet tall now. They've been in for 5 weeks. And the Thai hot pepper gets a lot of shade here from the eggplant, but it is so prolific. I don't know how well you can see on the video, but it has probably 300 or 400, no, at least 200 peppers growing right now. And the jalapeno wasn't doing as well. The peppers seem to really like the shade here for some reason. The eggplant has been absolutely prolific, but you can see it's wilting. It's starting to be on its way out, probably from the nematodes. I think I have to ask Liz. She's the one that does the count. She has a count for everything on her phone. I think we're up to about 70 eggplant, though we harvest them pretty small. And we have comfrey in several spots around here. I try to plant it so that it'll shade the pots from the sun. And we regularly cut that up and use it as chop and drop to provide fertilizer under the mounds when we build them up to plant, and then we also put them in our in-ground worm houses. There's one of the roses here. That is the only one that's blooming right now. I've got several cuttings in this pot trying to get them going from tomatoes and elderberry. This is ginger, edible ginger under here. You probably can't see very well, but that's easy to have going in all these little spots because it grows in the shade, at least partial shade, so you can just stick it in and you just let it go and pull it up. We've gotten a couple pounds of ginger so far this year. And our reed orchid, after 2 years, is finally blooming. Can't even see what you can see on this video or not, but it's blooming. Mountain Magic tomato. It's not very happy here. I'll take you down really quick to show you. For reference, this is what the plots look like when they are not being worked. It's basically just loose sand. And this is Charlie's plot. He is temporarily not using it, so another gentleman, Bill, and I are using it right now. But this is all pretty much 80 to 90% here. This is one tomato plant. That's the same variety, the Mountain Magic. And it's just going nuts. We planted this on the back side of the mound where we had the spaghetti squash that's dead now. So 1, 2, 3. Those are our 3 plots right there. I'm still taking you around the first one. Here is our peach tree. Got the vincas planted next to it, but not in the pot, so that they shade over the roots. Oh, here's an orchid bee. I don't know if you can see it. They're bright green. He's pollinating the eggplant. Let's see if I can get this to focus again. There we go. But Harry the peach tree has been blooming a lot and is finally setting some peaches. There's one right there. In this plot we have original lime-quat, which has all of its flowers. It's set several limes, and it's coming out with the flowers and starting. It should have lots of new growth soon. You can see the new growth coming out for this season. And the vincas and parsley to shade the pot. This is the butterfly pea. The flowers are really high in antioxidants, and we can use them for tea. It's a pH indicator, so it's bright blue, and then it changes to pink when you put in the lemon juice. And we also use them to make face masks and things like that. This is a gorgeous native with yellow flowers called Viralis. It's not blooming now. It was a huge bush last year, but like everything else, we're training it into a tree shape so we can plant underneath and have shade. That has not broken bud yet. This is, we call it yellow tree. It's a yellow tabubia. It's probably going to come out in a week or two here and bloom, but it's not yet. And this is the native seaside goldenrod that was spectacular in the fall, and for some reason it decided to put up a stalk this time of year. And we're just going to let it because the pollinators went so crazy over it, so we feel like that's a good thing. There's another pot of ranunculus there, and lemongrass, garlic chives, native Florida gamma grass, and fennel for the butterflies. This is the strawberry patch here. We've got about 5 different types. 2 that have been the most productive are the normal Florida annuals, but we also have some from runners and from another gardener here who's able to get his to continue over the summer, and they produce year to year. So I have those marked with little white labels so that when they send out runners, we know which plants to keep. There's the strawberries. I've got this concrete reinforcement grid here. It's about 4 inches off the ground, so I just drape the leaves and the berries over that to keep them off the ground so that the slugs and the bugs don't eat them. The strawberries were doing really well before, but they've really taken a hit with the crazy humidity we've had this past week. We're supposed to get some nicer weather, so hopefully they'll come back. These 2 are our apple trees. This is it's called Tropicana, and this one's called the Dorset Golden. They're pollinators for each other, and this is our big experiment. You can see the leaves that have come out so far are really unhappy in the heat and the humidity. The Tropicana did bloom. We can't tell if they've set up there yet or not. But we're following all the instructions of a guy who has been successful growing even high chill apples in equatorial Africa. So one of the things, besides the very specific pruning and thinning, see we pruned them to a central leader shape, is pushing the branches down and increasing the branch angle. So we're doing that with toothpicks with the little ones, and bigger branch spacers with the big ones. So we'll see. People have had not very good luck with them. I only know a couple people that have had luck with them, and they've been in a lot higher chill areas than us. And this is our Barbados cherry. Some flowers up there, I don't know if you can see. But you can probably tell it's related to crepe myrtle. They're not true cherries, they're not stone fruit, but they're the highest source of vitamin C in the world. One cherry has your whole day's worth of vitamin C, and it loves the heat. They're from the Caribbean, so it just started growing. I was trying to get 2 leaders here, and this branch accidentally broke off, so it's in a pretty pathetic shape right now. Got a yellow type of daylily here, and those back there are the gorgeous kind that are pink and double ruffled, and they smell like lilies of the valley. So I'm really excited for when those are gonna come out. And a salvia. That's the Cherokee tomato. We really wanted to do this video in the evening when the light is a lot better and to get things to focus more, but it just hasn't worked out. I cannot believe it, but the heirlooms have outperformed the hybrids this year and have done really, really well. Besides planted the tomatoes in mounds that were over a foot high, and they've decomposed that far over the course of the season. These have been in almost 6 months. But I also discovered that zip ties work really, really well instead of contorting the branches. As soon as the branch starts to get heavy, I very, very loosely put a zip tie on, like a cradle. And then as it gets heavier, I just tighten the zip tie about 1 centimeter every day. So the branches kind of stay in their natural horizontal position for a while, and that works really well. Got another patch of beets here. Hopefully they make it with the heat. And more onion starts. We have more still that have to go in. These have been in about 2 weeks, but I have to pull the beets and the carrots out to have space to put them. And these are the roses that actually started growing a lot now with the heat. I guess they like that, but none of them are blooming right now. This one's pink, this one's yellow, and this one's a really soft pink. That one's a bright pink. This was our second planting of broccoli, hoping to get one more cutting off of it and put some potatoes in here in these mounds the other night, but to kind of take over when the broccoli comes out. I don't know if that'll happen though. And our third planting of Swiss chard, we put in even more because we've been eating it so much and we want to freeze it to have it all year. It works great in the stuffed shells. And these tomatoes are in pretty sad shape now. They were beautiful a week and a half ago. I had a celebrity over here which does really well for us, and that one's definitely finishing up. But this was an heirloom we got. It was supposed to be a black Krim, which we knew we liked, but it turned out it's this slightly flattened, ribbed, it's an Italian tomato. It's very thick, almost like a paste tomato, and it's incredibly flavorful. And they're about that big, but as it's heated up, they've gotten smaller, closer to cherry size. Highly, highly recommend it though. And that one's so vigorous, you're going to try to keep it going and maybe root some cuttings. We have the purple cabbage here that is ready to harvest. The kale has gone crazy this year, but we're going to have to start harvesting that because it's getting so hot. The curly kale and then the dinosaur kale. Here's the mulberry. Worked on this a whole lot the past year to get it into shape. Been waiting the branches for 2 years, and I completely trim off, make a heading cut on all the branches that go inward or downwards, and then I tip the branches that go upwards so that they constantly produce new growth. Because the goal was to have it at our regulation height here, but just high enough that you could walk under it for shade, which I'm doing now. And following the principle of flat equals fruit, the flat branches are completely covered with flowers. It's ever-bearing. It produces about 4 times a year. And it was dormant. It just leafed out about a week and a half ago. Blossomed and then the leaves started. And here we've got a lot of peppers. The ones that I planted deep and sideways, I planted the stem all the way under here. This one is by far doing the best. So I put in new ones